Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with someone I call my real estate entrepreneur. He is Omar Alfaro. How you doing, buddy?
Good. What's up, Michael? Thanks for having me. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, so you're part of my Tuesday experts. You are the man down south. You've run a very you run a business really hybrid, right? You can take a lead and do lots of stuff with it. But I'm going to ask you to focus on your flipping business today, right? One
Okay.
part of your business.
Okay.
And I want to talk about evaluating net new inventory, right? Something you want to put on the books. When you do a flip today, you probably have to be holding it for 6 months, right? That's probably your plan, right? Get it, demo, fix up,
Right.
list. It's just all slower, right? You're paying 6 months of holding costs, probably.
For sure.
Uh, um, I just got to ask, why the hell would a flipper buy anything today when the world's on fire? Uh, do you ever just think about something and go, you know what, I'm going to hibernate for 90 days and see where we are January? Or do you still buy, but you just buy better? What's going on in your flipping business?
Great question. I'm sitting here. We're sitting here going through the numbers. Alyssa and I, and we're like, okay, what are we doing? Like, all right, what's happening here? What's happening there? And yeah, I don't want to buy. I don't want to buy a house because or a flip, because I have to wait 90 days
Yeah,
before
the
I'm going to
FHA
accept
rule.
an FHA rule or FHA financing.
Yeah.
But am I banking on the VA and conventional? Well, shit, conventional's through the roof
Yeah.
interest rate. So is the VA. You might actually get better rates at VA than you do FHA and
Yeah.
conventional.
Yeah.
But the pool is so small.
Yep.
So unless the ERV is 300K and I'm buying it for 100K or a buck 50, and I'm way under the median home price. I mean, you know how we were talking about you want to stay at the median or right under or just a little bit under? No. You want to be 50 to 80 to
Way under.
100K under the median for it to move. And honestly, I canceled 3 deals that we were in escrow with that market's changing. And I went to the sellers and I asked them, hey, you want a price reduction? Or I want a price reduction to move forward. And if you want to sell, great. If not, then I don't need to buy your house because I don't need to. And they're like, no. So we canceled one of them. This is one thing I'll share just to keep on this track of flipping. Why do we flip, right? To turn our money to make a profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of sellers that have a lot of equity, right? But their houses are trashed. That you provide a value there. So I changed my house that I was in escrow for 325. I dropped it down to 305, and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to buy it still. I want 280, 275 max, and it's worth 389. Okay. I talked to the seller. I said, listen, we can come up to some agreement. And this is where everybody needs to pay attention. I bypassed my 90-day rule, okay, because I'm not buying the house. I am fixing that home in this seller's name, okay? He signed a deed of trust for my profit, for my fix-up, and an advance of equity that I gave him. A deed of trust for 6 months, no payments, no interest, but in 6 months, if he decides to say, you know what, Omar, thanks for fixing my house, whatever, I'm foreclosing on him, okay? So deed of trust, I'm not going to record it yet until, I need to, and then I will. But it's just for security if I'm going to give him some money. Right. So we came to the agreement that he's going to be making a little bit more than what he thought. So in essence, kind of like a novation, right? Yeah. But I don't own the house. I can accept an FHA loan. I'm controlling the deal. I'm listing it. I'm fixing it. And I secured a $30,000 profit without owning the real estate.
Interesting.
And guess what? Why do we flip? Remove this equation out of this process here, and I'm buying the house. I buy it for 300K. It costs me, $10,000 in closing costs. So I'm in at 310. It cost me a $30,000 down payment. That's 40 grand. I haven't touched the house yet. I haven't touched the house yet. Then I'm going to touch the house, right? I'm going to throw 35K in it. Now I'm in at $75,000. And I'm hoping to make all of my money back. But guess what? I can't take an FHA loan. My guys need to be working quick, but they can't because I tell them to lag it a little bit, so it's done by the 90th day. So now I remove that equation out of it, and now I get to take an FHA loan. I control the property. I'm not the owner, but guess what? At the end of it, I'm secured with a $30,000 profit on a $35,000 rehab budget, and my money back. And I got a $75,000 deed of trust on the property that if something happens, I record, I secure my money. I'm telling you that
creativity is the way that's going to win the next couple of years, right? And it's communication, it's talking to sellers. This is very much like 1981. 1981, cost of capital was stupid. No transactions were done, but that's not true. Half the transactions were done in the previous years, and it's creativity that's going to win, right? I don't pretend to understand all the ins and outs of what you've just done, as far as the paperwork and all of that. But this is what I hear you telling me.
Yeah.
You have a seller who's got a fixer.
Yeah.
They want out.
Yeah.
One of the challenges you have as a flipper is the 90-day rule.
Correct.
Since you are not changing the ownership, the 90-day rule doesn't apply.
Correct.
The seller is saying, hey, I'm willing to give you 30K of profit if you fix up my place.
Right.
You've estimated that it's going to cost you 35 grand to do that. You're basically doubling your money roughly.
Yeah.
Roughly. And you have the team to do it, and the skill and the experience and all of that. So that's
the listing commission too.
Oh, and the listing commission. Look at you. That's right. Add that on the stack. So you are going to double your money.
Yeah.
And then what you've done is you've created protection with this deed of trust for some amount that if he tries to renege or screw you or something, you go record and can foreclose. Yep. So you're protecting yourself. Again, I don't pretend to know all the ins and outs in that, but this is how you win in the environment, because some sellers have to sell. Some sellers have equity. You have a Rubik's Cube of challenges, and you're just trying to play the game to line up. Because, at the end of the day, doubling your money in, I don't know, a 4 or 5 month window it's what you do, and it's what you've been doing for decades. So I get it. What do you think of all that?
Oh, it's you just said it. It's Rubik's Cube. You got to figure out that solution. You got to figure it out. And if anybody's telling you this, every freaking flipper that's out there wants to make a 50, 60% return on their money, 30% return on their money, regardless, right? Money invested, cash on cash return ends up being X, right? But if you borrowed a bunch of private money to flip a house, okay, great. No money out of your pocket, in essence, right? So then your return's infinite. Well, check this out. None of that money that I'm giving is my money.
Yeah.
So I'm just utilizing other people's money to double their money for me.
Yeah.
And they get a good interest rate. They're happy their money's being used.
Right.
And guess what? Like, I get to take $1 million, do this across the board in the next 12 months and double that $1 million. It's like going to Vegas and saying you're going to hit blackjack every single time. Maybe you won't every time, but if you're 8 out of 10 times, I'll do that shit all day. $1 million, give me 2 million. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, this is what I'm really taking from this, and why I'm so happy you're going to be at the event on the 12th. Is creativity is how you win. Listen 100%. To the big deal about this next coming 2 years. You're going to have to follow up, communicate, talk with the sellers to put together the Rubik's Cube. The last 2 years, Omar, cash and speed, cash and speed, cash and speed. One call close. Now it's talk, communicate, work, all of that. So, yeah. Where can people find you?
Guys, follow me on IG at Invest with Omar. I'm going to be breaking down all these deals. We got a bunch of new content coming. So it's cool.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.